Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi allazina astafa. Amma ba'du farabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Wa qul rabbi adkhilni mudkhala sidkin wa akhrijni mukhraja sidkin. Waj'al li min ladunka sultanan nasira. Bismillah wa billah wa tawakkaltu ala Allah. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Verse number 114 of Surah Al-Baqarah, second chapter of the Holy Book of Quran. We recite it together and then we will try to explain it as much as we can convey the message that is in this verse. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ وَسَعَى فِي خَرَابِهَا أُولَئِكَ مَا كَانَ لَهُمْ أَنْ يَدْخُلُوهَا إِلَّا خَائِفِينَ لَهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا خِزْيٌ وَلَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. Before starting explanation of the verse, again I should say these sessions of explanation of the message of Allah from the Holy Book of Quran, the purpose for this is to explain briefly the message of Allah from the words of Allah, the words that we have in our front. We read it and explain up to the level that words apparently have that meaning and that can be extracted from those words which are used here. And there are some other intricacies and delicacies in the word and the sentences and the phrases and the context. When we see them all together, those depth and deep depth are to be explored by who they have more research time and more time for contemplation and for tadabbur. Of course, there is a need of more tadabbur to explore more meaning and deep meaning and go to some profound meaning of that. But we only explain the first level, we can say, of the meaning of the words that we read. And of course, to explain it to an extent that is comprehensible for everybody, and everybody can take it as a message of Allah and get the message from it, and then if he wants to go to further more deep studies, that will be a start for him. So this verse that we are now explaining, it is related to the verses before, all talks in these verses are directed to Israelite, as they were denying and keeping denial manner towards the Holy Prophet, last Prophet of Allah. And Allah is explaining their situation, their claims, their denial reasoning, and whatever they were involved in that, so that they had that manner of denial and not accepting and being adverse of what the Prophet was calling them to be. This ayah or this verse is also mentioning another aspect of their behavior, and that was to go to masajid or to go to the places of worship and not to worship and not to allow others to worship. It means that to irritate them, to make trouble for them, to be an obstacle for others to make their worship and prostrate before Allah and to pay their homage towards Allah. These people, Allah is telling them and warning them and saying that these are the most unjust people that ever can be, because Allah is using the format of al-tafzil here, azlam, that is a pattern of on the pattern of af'al, and that means that it is a superlative term in the linguistic terminology. So azlam is af'al, and it means that the most of the unjust people, most of the one who is wrongdoer, the one who is on the evil path, and he is the highest level of that. Who is that? Allah is telling here, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ, who can be more than him, an unjust man? أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ, from this, who mana'a masajid Allah, he is an obstacle, he prevents people in the masajid Allah. Allah is saying masajid Allah, and it does not mean these only masajids that are known in the Muslim communities and Muslim societies as masjid. No, it is not meant that, because at that time there were no so many masajid, and maybe there were 2, 3, 4, this like masajid in Medina, and other than Medina, maybe very rarely there could be some masjid. But this masjid which is known, it is not meant here. Masajid here is giving meaning of every place that is used for the purpose of worshipping Allah, to performing act of prostration and sajda, act of sajda, whenever, wherever that sajda is done, that place can be called masjid, because masjid is ism makan from sajada. The people who, the audience who know about sarf or nahw of Arabic, the grammar or etymology of the words, they know that this word of masjid is on the pattern of El, and that means that where some act is done, something is done there, some work is done there, and the place where it is done. And also it gives the meaning of the time in which that act happened, that event happened. So here masajid is giving the original linguistic meaning that it has, and that is the place of sajda. Place of sajda can be so many places, and even here, because Allah is talking to Israelite, maybe it is talking about all the worship places. Maybe they are masajid, which are known to Muslims, and maybe they are other like churches, like synagogue, or like other like temples and other places where Allah is being worshipped. All is meant here. So Allah is telling that, because at the when it is said here like this, it means that at their prophethood, and the religion that they had, in that religion also there are some people who are not allowing others to do their worship, and Allah is meaning all of them. In all those people of scriptures, maybe they were Jews, maybe they were Christian, and now they are Muslim. The one who is trying to be an obstacle, or who is disturbing people and interrupting people and doing things that are causing troublesome situation for those who are making worship and who are worshipping Allah. So Allah is telling that waman aslamu, and this is told here because many of these Israelite or Jews, they had this habit that they were not worshipping, they were making more trouble and obstacle than to go and for worship. They were doing so many other things, so that they were some kind of obstacle in front of those who were doing their prostration to Allah. وَمَنْ أَزْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ, and they were preventing people to do their zikr and be in the remembering of Allah, and to have Allah in their mind and in their tongue. And yuzkara fiha ismullah wa sa'a fi kharabiha, and they try to disturb it. Here kharab, kharaba yakhrubu, or akhraba yukhribu. Here kharab means to not to destroy it or demolish it or bulldoze it. That is not meant here. It means that the real purpose for which that place is made, or it is constructed for that purpose, these people try to deviate that center or that place of worship from the from the purpose that for which it was constructed and it was established. And now they are not allowing people to do their worship there, and they do so many other things, and they disturb them, they irritate them, they have trouble for them, they make trouble for them, or this kind of things. And yuzkara fiha ismuhu wa sa'a fi kharabiha, and they do their effort to disturb all that system of worshipping Allah. Allah is saying, this sentence which is coming, it shows that these people were those who were coming and going from these worship places and these temples and these churches and these mosques and all those places of worship. They were not somebody who are at the opposite of the, they were not in opposition, or they were not some people, they were unbeliever and they were maybe from those of kuffar, or that is not meant here, because these people were those who were coming and going, and they were familiar with the people in the mosque or in the worship places. Allah is saying, Ulaika ma kana lahum. These people have no right an yadkhuluha, to enter these places, illa khaifin. They were to enter them with being fearing Allah, khaifin, fearing Allah, and being submissive to Allah, and not in this condition to disturb others. So this is for those, especially those people who go to worship place not for the purpose of doing worship and paying homage to Allah, but they go for entertainment, or maybe they go to meet some other people. They have also come there, and this kind of, or maybe they have some other goal for their going there. So Allah is telling them the only reason to go to mosque or to go to the worship place is to be in fear of Allah, and to be in zikr of Allah, and to be in remembering Allah. That is the only purpose that somebody should have when he goes to the worship place. Ulaika ma kana lahum an yadkhuluha illa khaifin, unless they should be fearing Allah and they should be afraid of Allah. So, O Allah, tell us what will be the reward for this wrong doing that they act and they practice, this wrong act that they do, and this situation, this sin-like situation. What is their reward, and what will you deal with them? Allah is telling, lahum fid dunya khizyum. They will be in ignominy in this world. They will be disgraded, and they will be disgraced, and they will be degraded. They will be disgraced and degraded here in this world. And walahum fil akhirati azabun azim. And in the judgment day also they face very painful chastisement and a punishment that will hurt them so much, and it will be painful for them. Azabun azim, and Allah is saying that is a very heinous punishment, a punishment that is very grand, and that is azim. May Allah keep us safe and secure from all of those punishment and all those azab. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you all.